Hi, I'm Dhilvan Herath. I'm 17 years. I'm a tennis player and I'm a student at Royal College. And I'm currently doing maths for A-levels. Last year I represented Sri Lanka at the Junior Davis Cup, and also I'm honored to be a third year colorsman at college. So when I was young, my sister was also playing tennis at a very competitive level. So naturally my parents decided to introduce me to a sport at a very young age. And from the first time I held the racket itself, I instantly fell in love with the sport. And from that day on, I've enjoyed playing tennis very much. So I started playing tennis at around the age of 4. And I would say my proudest achievement up to now would be getting into a Junior Davis Cup team last year. It was very special to me since it was the first time I represented Sri Lanka. We did extremely well as a team, and it was a great experience for me. We qualified from the first stage to the second stage and then managed to retain our spot in stage 2, and that was the first time a Sri Lankan Junior Davis Cup team had done that after many years. The quality of the teams we faced in stage 2 were extremely high, and I am fortunate to have been able to experience that. We met some great high quality players from around the world. In fact, when we went to play the second stage in Thailand, there was a player from this Japanese team who was so good. His name was Shintaro Mochizuki, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce his surname. But however, this player named Shintaro went on to win the Junior Wimbledon that year. And he was just 16 years old. So it was unbelievable to watch and go against players of that caliber. And all three of us definitely learned so much from that experience and grew so much as tennis players. So Junior Davis Cup definitely showed me what the standard of the highest level was like and what it takes to get to that level. So I'm extremely glad I got to represent Sri Lanka at the Junior Davis Cup, and I'm fortunate to have gotten that opportunity. So in addition to tennis, when I was young, I used to play many other sports as well, such as cricket, swimming, chess, basketball, karate, etc. But once I realized my passion lied with tennis, I dropped all those other sports at around the age of 12 and solely put my focus into tennis. But even though I stopped all those sports, playing those sports when I was young definitely helped me out a lot, and I learned so much from them. So I'm extremely grateful that I got the opportunity to play those sports as well. And also in addition to that, I debate for school a little here and there, and I'm also part of many clubs and societies in college. Tennis has definitely played a huge role in my life. It's taught me so much, and it's taught me so many important things, not just sports-wise, but also on how to become a better person in society. I have met many people through tennis, and some of them have turned out to be my bestest of friends. I am fortunate to be a part of a great squad with some great players who are also great people, and a great coach who is Mr. Niranjan Kastetty. So I am extremely grateful for all these things that tennis has brought into my life, and I believe that tennis has played a huge role in my life. A tennis player I look up to would definitely be Novak Djokovic. I've been a die-hard fan of him since a very young age, and it was actually my sister who got me interested in him first, but eventually I turned out to be even greater fan than my sister. I just like the way he carries himself on and off the court, and I like his personality in general. So that's the reason I believe I look up to him, and he really inspires me. So talking about personal experience about the value of never giving up would take me back to the Junior Davis Cup trials that were held at the beginning of last year. So going into trials, I was definitely not a hot favorite to get into a team. But personally, I did believe that I could make it to a team, and I was just focused on doing my very best and fighting till the very end. I can still remember as it came to the first day of the trials, I was a little nervous, but I had to face an opponent that I was fancy to win against. So even though I had some nerves, in the end I managed to pull off that match and win it in straight sets. So that definitely gave me some confidence moving forward in the trial matches. However, in the second day, I had to face an opponent I had never won against. I don't think I had even pulled a set off him. Even though I played him many times, this was definitely the most important match I faced him in. So going into the match, even though I had never beaten him, I believed that I could beat him, and I was determined to give my very best. So as the match started, I got off to a pretty poor start, resulting in me losing the first set pretty badly. But I was focused on not giving up and giving my very best. As a result, I went on to win the second set, and I carried the momentum to the third as well, which gave me a 5-2 lead in the third set, if I am not mistaken. But since I had never beaten him before, the nerves got the better of me, and he made a comeback to make it 5-all. And at that point, it could have been anyone's match, and I would have been gutted if I lost from being in the position I was. So at that point, I focused on sticking to my game plan and fighting for every point, and I eventually managed to come out on top after winning the third set 7-5. It meant a lot to me since it was the first time I beat him, and thereafter I faced him about 3 to 4 times, and I have not lost to him since. So that match turned out to be an extremely vital one for me during the trials, and it gave me the confidence and momentum I needed to perform well in the remaining matches and get into the team. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, no matter how many times you've fallen down, whether it is in sport or life in general, you got to keep at it, keep believing, and never give up. With that type of mindset, you'll eventually come out on top. With the current pandemic situation that's going on around the world, it's definitely taken a huge toll on all sports. But as sportsmen, all we can do is keep working hard and staying motivated through these difficult times. We must remember that once the situation is back to normal, sports competitions and stuff like that will return. And it's important that all of us are at our peaks when that happens. I think if you're stuck at home or something like that, it's important that you follow a set schedule, because set schedule to develop in your sport, because that will help you be more productive and you can develop both physically and mentally in that manner. Tennis in Sri Lanka is definitely a sport which attracts many young talents. There are so many talented future prospects that play from around the age of 7 to around the age of 14. But it's unfortunate to see that so many of these players start dropping out once they start getting old, and when it comes to under 16, under 18 and men's age group, the number of players that remain are just a fraction of the amount of players that used to be. I believe this is mainly due to educational reasons and also financial difficulties. Education in Sri Lanka, being as competitive as it is, demotivates parents to keep their children involved in the sport once they see the performance of the child drop, which results in many players dropping out. However, I am fortunate that my parents support me very much and always look out for my best interest and trusted me to balance both my studies and sports. I am extremely grateful to them. At times, with the education system being as competitive as it is, it may seem tough to balance both studies and education. But trust me, with the right dedication and discipline, it's possible to be successful at both your sport and education. I feel like going through that experience and learning to balance both my studies and tennis definitely helped me develop as a person, and it helped me to learn to manage my time properly and be more disciplined and stuff like that. I think learning to balance things at a young age is very important, because in the end of the day, you can't be one-dimensional. You will face many challenges in life, and by learning to balance your life, it will definitely help you overcome challenges that you face and be successful in life. So this problem of kids dropping out definitely needs to be solved, and I think it's important that tennis attracts more attention and in the country, and the players stay motivated. So hopefully the association and the government can think of a way to solve these problems, and tennis will develop further in the future. Talking about the government support, I believe in general the government does support sports in the country. But tennis, being a less popular sport in the country, doesn't get as much attention. Things like giving scholarships to talented young tennis players from rural areas and advertising the sport a tad little more would definitely help develop tennis in the country. In the future, I want to represent Sri Lanka one day at the Davis Cup and win many matches for my country, and I'd also like to keep playing tennis for as long as I can. Before I finish, I'd just like to say, whether it's in sport or just life in general, always do something you're passionate about. Because when you're passionate about something, you naturally work really hard at getting better at it. And I believe that that's the most important thing in order to be successful at what you do. So find your passion and always be hardworking. Try to be the hardest worker in the room, and then you'll never go wrong. Thank you.